I will be analysing the clips chosen from The Lives of Others directed by Florian Henkel von Donnerschmarck. High-key underlighting is used to present Wiesla's face before the camera pans from a profile to rear shot, causing darkness to overwhelm even more of the shadowed room. This lighting decision aids the negative portrayal of him spying on Draymond's apartment for the Stasi. The quiet and slightly blurred, funky diegetic music of the party Wiesla is listening to through his headphones aligns with the fast-paced, clattery foley of his typewriter, further establishing his involvement in the spying of Draymond's apartment. Unlike the previous clip, this medium shot of Draymond opening gifts by candlelight holds a soft lighting quality, portraying the romantic setting. This is aided by the two lamps at either side of the frame. They act as fill lights to soften the shadows, creating this erotic atmosphere. The candle centers this static shot, acting as the key light as well as preempting mourning for Maria, who lies behind him. The couple's flirtatiously playful and naturalistic dialogue coincides with Maria's seductive positioning on the sofa, confirming the amorous relation between the couple. Most likely, there are other sources in the lighting design to manipulate this setting in a way which works well with the on-screen sources. The pattern of illumination is motivated by the visible sources. This lighting technique establishes the tone of the scene and keeps the lighting fairly realistic. Maria's blurry placement in the frame is lower down than that of Draymond's character. This directs a greater focus on him, which seems fitting as he is the one Wiesla is predominantly spying on. The shadows created by the lighting embodies this idea that they are being watched because it looks as though there are people in the room. To enhance a greater sense of invading the couple's thought-to-be private apartment, a dolly shot of Draymond sitting beside Maria helps for us to focus on their actions more vividly. In this case, Draymond finds a gift from Jeska, a screenplay. Donnerschmarck uses an oblique bird's-eye shot to present the script Sonata vom guten Menschen, as well as the crumpled wrapping paper discarded beneath. Draymond's reaction, depicted from his neutral facial expression, gives no obvious indication as to whether he likes the present. Instead, he embraces Maria gently. You will notice that there are greater shadows on Maria's side of the frame, foreshadowing her misleading characterization. She is perceived to be perfect, however, snitches on Draymond to the Stasi, which creates a mysterious duality in her character. This idea is further amplified by other aspects of mise en scène, like her dark dress, contrasting Draymond's white shirt and placement on the lighter side. The juxtaposition of the lighting and costume choices subtly sets the couple apart as they kiss one another. An over-the-shoulder shot reveals Maria taking off his tie in a seductive manner, and the soft classical slow-paced music aids this alluring atmosphere. This shot abruptly cuts to a high-angle close-up of Wiesla's typewriter. This editing decision adds a contrasting graphical relation between both shots. Now there is no music. Instead, there is the echoing foley of Wiesla typing each interaction the couple make within their apartment. This startling juxtaposition of sound and setting changes a moment of romance into one which factualizes the couple's every move. This perfectly reflects the inhumane and robotic nature of the Stasi's operation as a whole. There is a frontal panning medium-long shot of Wiesla and an out-of-focus figure walking in from behind. Although Wiesla has headphones on and does not look back at this silhouetted man, he knows who is there. This links to the Stasi's objective of becoming all-knowing, as well as presenting Wiesla as a highly alert and intelligent character. He acknowledges the ambiguous man's presence, stating, "You're late," with a neutral expression and headphones still on. The positioning of this man standing behind him in the darkness creates a depth of space, giving him a smaller and more insignificant presence compared to Wiesla, a man with a higher rank within the Stasi, which is confirmed through the associate's apologetic dialogue towards Wiesla, who he addresses as captain. The lighting emphasizes both characters' positions within the Stasi. Wiesla's face is highlighted, whereas his work partner remains shadowed, ergo less noticeable. The nervous-looking man rushes to grab the headphones, proceeding to make a joke about the couple's intimacy. His performance demonstrates an optimistic ignorance through his rambled dialogue and inappropriate laughing at the subjects being spied on. It is made clear to the audience that Wiesla looks down upon this behaviour depicted through his stubborn silence and lack of eye contact. Wiesla is a quieter, more respectful man who blatantly ignores the man's attempt for a high five by simply walking away, further emphasising his ascendancy. There is a panning medium shot of Draymond. Everything in the frame can carry meaning. The mere simplicity of Draymond's motif within the shot, which is writing, is emphasized through various uses of mise-en-scène, such as the setting, which is overwhelmed by the sheer number of antiques and books. This messy atmosphere coincides with Draymond's costume, a crumpled, unbuttoned shirt, making it appear as though he has been strenuously working for a long time. Furthermore, the iconography of his glasses embraces a focused, stereotypically intelligent man. The blurry background suggests a certain detachment between the outside world and Draymond, who is visibly deep in thought and centered within the frame. The gentle disappearance of the cigarette smoke comfortably aligns with the slow-paced and warm isolated harp music, erecting a disjointed, calm and concentrated quality to the shot. The montage cuts to a close-up of Wiesler in low-key lighting, who is just as focused. Harsh shadows hide half of his face, submerging him with a darkened consciousness. He is responsible for this couple's future, welfare and lives. However, this is his job. Going against them would be equally as threatening. Hatred towards this unforgivingly brutal and invasive institution is depicted through the film by GDR citizens during this time period and authors such as Elke Ertle, who lived through the rule of the Stasi, saying that it was the most repressive and feared institution that ever existed. Throughout the presented shots of Wiesler, he is working in all of them. We never see his personal life in great detail. This tendency to be secretive is a trait which was required if working for the Stasi. There is a bird's-eye shot to clearly demonstrate what Wiesler is doing, mapping out the blueprints of Draymond's apartment as part of his spying investigation. Regarding the idea that the basic elements of film consist of time and space, particularly manipulated within editing, we can understand that both Draymond and Wiesler's shots are long takes, and there is the assumption that these actions are going on at the same time, so they are both alike in that sense. However, the space through framing, setting and location is notoriously altered. The graphical relation between Draymond's shot, a space which is well lit, level, cluttered and homely, juxtaposes Wiesler's elevated one, which exhibits him evaluating his drawing of this well-decorated apartment, presented with a bare, shadowed and factual outline. The contrast between both locations is further supported by Wiesler's movement throughout the static shot. He carefully sidesteps behind a pillar, suggesting his secrecy. However, Draymond is centered and clearly visible through a moving dolly shot. So although there are differences between the two characters' jobs, physicalities and motifs, they still have some similarities: their gender, age and future disagreement with the Stasi. Both are metaphorized through time and space. A medium-long shot of three silhouettes exit a building into the street lamp's low-key lighting, presenting Maria and two other ladies who are presumably her friends. Maria and the others cheerfully part ways off opposite sides of the screen, revealing an unrecognizable man through the door's window. This subtle use of an extra facing towards the women hints to the constant possibility that GDR citizens are being watched. There is a straight cut to a tracking medium close-up of Maria. She walks down the street with a slightly woeful expression on her face. Donnerschmark says he took pains to film on location in the rare streets that had not been transformed after the fall of the Berlin Wall. This creates a bleak and unsettling authenticity, which is a heavily accurate reflection of the time period. In this montage sequence, the rhythmic and temporal relations editing between the three protagonists accentuates their significance within the film and also builds suspense through the long takes. The background is blurry, forcing the audience to focus on Maria. A car pulls up beside her, she turns her head and the realization of who it is aligns with a cutting-on-action editing technique which jolts the shot into reflecting upon Maria's internalized fear of this man behind the blacked-out windows who she attempts to ignore. The persistent following of Maria, a vulnerable woman alone in the dark streets of Berlin, generates a concerned empathy for her safety, something which was always the case, especially in a society ruled by the Stasi. The car stops to a halt with an open door and she gives in to his order, enabling the surroundings to go into focus. The blacked out windows adds to the enigma of where the car is going and who she is going there with. We are then made aware of Hemp's character in a frontal level medium shot of them both. The scene is full of an overwhelming darkness with tones of drab greens emphasizing his disgusting intentions. Baldwell and Thompson say colours create parallels among settings. This scene embodies this through murky green tints, mirroring Hempf's unsettling, corrupt use of wealth. Due to his ministerial position in the Stasi, he is given the power to hide what he is doing to Maria from the public, even though there is a witness, the driver. The heavy breathing overlapping the car's engine creates a sickening and realistic atmosphere through the diegetic sounds. This evokes a disgust for Hempf's misogynistic, overruling character. The lights cast through the windows of the moving car establishes an uneasy flashing contrast against the darkness. Maria remains still as both the lights and Hempf creep around her. There is an over-the-shoulder shot of the driver staring at the two through the rearview mirror. He stays silent as if this is a regular occurrence. This one-sided dialogue conveys Maria's silent uncomfortability and defeat within the scene. She attempts to remain externally neutral, however, her darting open eyes depicts her disinterest and desire for escape. She does not speak because she knows she is helpless. It was a well-known fact that male society's hidden hatred of independent women who thought differently to the Stasi's inhumane views is reflected in the files. High-rank Stasi employees, who ironically had the goal of becoming all-knowing, struggled and were upset when women became political, says a member of Frauen for Frieden, a women's group that protested and finally threatened a country that considered women's problems solved. So the smartest thing for Maria to do is simply nothing. She is intelligent enough to realize that she alone cannot fight back against Minister Hempf without there being the possibility of beatings, starvation, rape, electric shocks, and long periods of solitary confinement. Overall, The Lives of Others uses its main theme of power, implied through character positioning, lighting, camera angles, and more, to define the Stasi's corrupted use of fear to get the information they want and who they want.